Hey everyone, Sean Clement here. We got a nice driver session set up for you. Hogan's Driver Diagonal Stance Secret. Man, that stance is so important. We have a whole series dedicated to that on our premium channel. And you guys are gonna get more than a glimpse right here in this video. So you don't wanna go away. So let's get to it right out of the gate. First and foremost, a little review on the length of that driver. I have driver, 7-iron, wedge. See the difference in length? So if I'm going to swing a wedge back and through without stopping, notice where the club wants to pass and see how far my hands are from my body. So notice my hands are right up next to my legs. So for all of you who are trying to fist away, that'll work from the wedge maybe till the 9-iron, but then it gets a little more complicated. So if we look at a 7-iron and we swing that back and through without stopping, see where it's passing now? My wedge was over here. Now my 7-iron is over here. Now with the driver, that gets even more complicated. So the more length you have on the club, the more outward the pull. So notice if I bring that with my tee, look how far away my hands are. I can't have the hands hanging in the same place with the driver. Gravity's going to pull me out here. Now I got to do this to hit the ball. I'm going to be in a constant fight. So a good way to illustrate that, if I take my lunge whip and I swing the short end of this lunge whip, notice it's going nice and vertical. Now I take the longer end of my lunge whip. That can't swing vertical. I'm going to need one heck of a stool to get myself tall enough to keep this vertical. So I have to now swing more diagonally. See that? So it's not a Ferris wheel, it's not a merry-go-round, it's somewhere in between. So the more outward the pull, well, the more I'm going to need support. So notice when I drop my left foot back, my right foot back, I should say, my left foot stays forward. Now that forward leg helps support that extra outward pull. Mo Norman had that stance because he was a shorter person, 5'8", with longer arms. His arms were longer than mine. So myself at 6'1" with short arms, I look very, very different. I'm balanced and I have the same elements in my swing, but I look different. My arm swing is different. It goes a lot more vertically like Bubba Watson does, like Jack Nicklaus did. So, or still does. Now, if I get set up, now what we're looking for is to take the tip of this tee, look at the blur of this club. That's where it's passing. So all I want to do is take the blur of the club and flick the tee into the direction that I want to start the ball on. So notice I keep nicking that tee perfectly. So if the sole of the club clips the tee here, the ball is always going to meet that center of the club face. So when I want to go, let's say I want a draw on this ball, I want to start at just a little right of this hole in the mat. If I go with a square stance to the mat, and I want to try and go to the right of that intermediate point to start it to the right, I won't be able to do it from here. That ball position is way too far forward. With the driver, we want to catch the ball on the way up. So notice where I'm starting from. The club goes up, comes back down, and then catches it on the way up. This was Mo. If I face the ball, it's going up from there, back down under the ball, break the tee, slice to the right, pull left, low, lots of spin, all of the stuff that is undesirable, versus here I'm catching it on the way up, higher launch, lower spin, way more distance, way more efficiency. So I need this diagonal stance to get me to the right of that intermediate point without compromising my balance. See how that works? So if I start square and I drop my right foot back, careful when you do that. Notice how it changes my center of gravity? So I'm going to have to come back in. So when I do that, I need to do it with both feet. The right foot comes back and the left foot goes forward. Now it feels like I've got that support, and all I have to do is stay to the right edge of that intermediate point back and through. So I'm staying right edge, flick the tee to the right edge, off the ball goes. Beautiful, beautiful draw back there. There's a nice 310-yard draw. And so 280 carry, 308 total. Look at that backspin, super low. Look at that launch, super high, 15 degrees of launch. So I'm going to maximize everything I have with that particular setup. Now, Hogan used to play a really pretty fade as well. So if I wanted to take the setup and have a fade with it, well, then all I have to do is take the whole setup and bring it over to the left of the intermediate point. Now from there, I'm going to flick the tee to the left of that intermediate point, and I still benefit from that diagonal stance. So I'm staying to the left, staying to the left. The ball starts to the left, fading back to left center of the fairway. Caught that just a little low on the face, so I didn't quite get the 300 yards. But look at this backspin, only 2,400 spin. And I caught that significantly low on the face, and I still carried it 274, but with a little bit more spin, it didn't quite roll out as much. And because I hit it a little low on the face, it only launched at about 12 degrees. Ball speed was still okay, but it didn't spring off the center of the face. So I'm going to tee that up a little higher. I'm going to get into my diagonal stance. I'm going to bring this to my target line. I'm going to bring that a little bit more to the left. And there we have it. So now I'm taking the tip of that tee and I'm flicking it that way with a lot of ease. Just like that lunge whip twirling. Here we go. That is going to be pretty cool right there, people. So there's 300, almost 320. And notice my side spin, 172 to the right. There's the backspin underneath 2,000 RPM. And my launch was a little higher, my ball speed a little higher, and there we go. We got 317 yards. Now that's why today we could go a lot further with the same amount of club head speed. That club head speed there, if my efficiency is, let's say, at 1.4, we're looking at about, 110 miles an hour. And that makes things a lot of fun. So the next little tidbit is going to be super important for you. You want to stay with us. On our premium channel, we show you how to do this diagonal stance with every club in the book, from the wedges all the way to the driver, just so if you need that extra range of motion, because when you drop that right foot back, it opens up that backswing and gives you a heck of a lot more range of motion. And it gives you a lot better brace through the shot. You can't finish as deeply, but with a high finish, you'll have everything you need to go to the target. A little bonus track here. If you think that diagonal stance is really going to help the average person or the older person get more range of motion in the backswing, Moo has found that in long drive for both he and Sav, and you'll see a little video I put here of Sav with 116 miles an hour. She's pushing 120 right now. You'll really see her diagonal stance in there. And, I wanted to have you take a look at Moo's a little bit too. Okay. Wow. How did that feel?
It felt good, center punch. Just didn't come back for me.
Now we're talking. All right. So, because these are spinnier balls, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
So that was 202 ball speed.
Yeah.
3,000 RPM though, but your carry was 340.
Yeah.
and 215 feet high.
Yeah, it's a different,
That's crazy.
it's a different setup.
So let's look at the reasoning behind
Okay.
why there's more diagonal look to the longer club that you have.
Okay, sure.
Because the longer the club you have, the more outward pull you have.
Correct.
And you'll notice that when, let's say if you're playing baseball, that bat's coming out here. When you're stepping into the plate, you're stepping diagonally into the plate.
That's true.
So you're having a lot more brace and a lot more resistance, more counterweight
Yeah.
to that outward pull of the bat.
Yeah.
So the bat is coming out, much more horizontally, and it's a lot heavier than a golf club.
That's right.
But at 48 inches, we could see a significant difference
In the setup.
in your setup and the diagonal stance,
Yeah.
which is very eye-opening.
Yeah, because with the gamer, I have to be not as tight, but like it's just a different swing compared to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you could see how much more, it was almost a square stance when you had that with the 45-inch shaft.
Yeah.
So for somebody who's shorter, like Sav,
Yeah.
then you really see a little bit more of that diagonal look to it.
Correct. That makes more
So-
sense.
There we go. Now we're getting the whole picture.
Yeah.
So to get more details on that, go to our premium channel at wisdomandgolfpremium.com, where I have a full series how we talk in detail about this, so that you understand how to make that diagonal stance your own. All right? Enjoy.